Into the mind of Dan and Dave, into the mind of Dan and Dave, into the mind of Dan and Dave, into the mind of... Here we go. Into the mind of Dan and Dave, into the mind of Dan and Dave, into the mind of... Here we go. Into the mind of Dan and Dave, into the mind of Dan and Dave, into the mind...
Welcome to the Dan and Dave Mindset. My name's Dan.
I'm Dave. How you doing?
I'm good, Dave. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. You know.
Good. So, what's on your mind?
Well, I think we're gonna be. I think we're starting to do the asking you, the listener, to throw up some of your ideas to.
If you like.
Well, we want you to do it anyway.
We do want you to do it, whether you like it or not.
I mean, just throw them up.
What do you want to hear us talk about?
Exactly. I mean, if it's goofy, if it's serious, well, please don't do serious. If you do serious, we're gonna try and make it lighthearted anyway.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. We want to hear as many ideas as possible, stuff you want us to talk about. Right. If you are chosen, if your topic is chosen, we have a special reward for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Being.
Should we tell them?
Yes.
I don't want to disappoint anybody.
Yeah. Not only will you be the focus of our show, basically.
Be the focus of our. You'll be on our mind the entire time.
Your idea, but and of course your name will be dropped.
At least once.
Yes.
So if
verbally, I mean, it'll be
verbally dropped.
It'll be written. I mean, it'll be.
Well, yeah. So twice at least.
Yeah.
So you'll be mentioned in the podcast notes on the Facebook page and the blog and all the various, then on PodOmatic.com.
But anyway,
that's 4 mentions immediately.
And Dan and I sat down and decided to make some business cards.
Essentially, yeah. They're like business card size advertisements for the show.
Right. Yeah. You will not find our phone number on there.
No.
Anyway, so you'll get one of those autographed.
Yeah.
By Dan and myself. And
it'd be like a souvenir from the show.
I mean, I think they're pretty cool.
I think they're cool.
Yeah,
I'm glad you liked it.
I think you did a very good job on that.
Thank you. You had your input as well, and it was valuable, and I always appreciate it.
So our first recipient will be Brian Wozny.
Brian Wozny. You've heard his name here before.
That's right.
You've heard his voice here on our show.
That's right. The christening of the...
what are we going to call it? The what's on your mind that you want on our mind?
Not
what's on your mind?
What is not what's on our It's not what's on Dan and Dave's mind. It's what's on your mind. What's on Brian Wozny's mind tonight?
Yeah, but then it becomes on our
mind. Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
And so we will talk about it.
Anyway,
so a big congratulations to Brian Wozny for winning the first in our what was up until now a secret contest.
And nobody knew about our cards.
That's true, and they will be featured prominently on the Facebook page at some point here.
And T-shirts by order.
Yeah, all right, sure. Right. The pending printing of them.
That's right.
And really, seriously, if there are other things that you would want to, if you would want some sort of Dan and Dave mindset memorabilia,
right?
Why don't you just post that up on the page as well? We'd be definitely interested in hearing, what sorts of things would be of interest to you, the listeners and the fans that you are, that we cherish and appreciate.
Exactly. Robyn Orme, where are you? We haven't heard from you lately.
It's as if we have to put you in the POS-MENs before you listen. That's how it's starting to feel.
Anyway.
So.
Brian
Wozny. Yeah, so when we started, I completely forgot that we were doing that, so that's why it took me a minute there. So, Brian Wozny brought up an interesting topic, of toys.
Yeah. Childhood toys would be.
Childhood toys and current toys.
I didn't catch that part.
Well, I thought it was...
Did I not read my own text?
Also, I'm getting over a cold, so I will try to edit out any coughs that happen, but there may be others.
Right.
So I'm going to leave that one in so that you know that they're there.
Right.
But you might not hear any more if I am successful in removing them before you listen to the rest of this episode.
Right.
Because, I like it to be real. So
I can't read exactly what Brian texted me because I always delete my text. But basically, I think he wrote, like, childhood toys.
But he said that they were the difference between
childhood toys then and now.
And how they are now, yeah.
Right.
So it was a comparison.
Okay.
And I don't have a lot of experience with today's toys, but I've seen them around. And I have some experience with them. Some of them are really cool, though, I will say.
Exactly.
But many of them suck.
Well, what was your first favorite?
I
growing
believe
up?
it was my gray teddy bear.
That's not a toy.
Is a teddy bear not a toy?
No, that's a.
What is it?
It's a teddy bear.
What
A toy is like something you play with.
I played with that teddy bear.
Like how? Like you just had conversations with him and.
Yeah, I did actually. I have.
Okay.
I interviewed it.
I'm not bashing you. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
what
it.
did you do? Did you have a teddy bear?
I did not. Wait, hang on.
I had a rock.
That's that's right.
I had a piece of string.
That's right.
They were friends.
That's all we had back then.
Yeah, when I laugh, I cough. That's the thing.
I did not. No, I didn't have. I guess I really didn't.
You never had a... Did you have any stuffed animals?
Is that sad? Yeah, that's sad,
This
isn't
makes
it?
me sad
If
a
I
little bit.
did, I don't. Why? Yeah, I don't know. I guess. Interesting.
Yes, provocative. Wow. I had a slinky once, but I straightened it.
Actually, I did. Okay, now I remember. But I never really played with them. I guess I just.
You just admired them from a distance, put them up on the wall, and
Yeah.
just...
I mean, when I was like wicked young. I mean.
Yeah, I'm talking when I was like 3 or 4 years old.
Oh yeah, I was wicked young. I would
Get a doll.
sleep with them, cuddle with them, or whatever, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
As far as have interviews with them, no.
Well, I lived out in the country, and
That's fine.
my friends lived many miles
That's
away.
fine. That's pretty cool, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
I should put... I've got the tape somewhere, and I've been wanting to...
You recorded these interviews?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Nice.
Like when I was like...
What did the teddy bear sound like?
I don't remember if I gave them voices or if I just...
how'd they answer? In your head?
Maybe they...
In your mind movies?
It's possible that they... It's possible that I just left blanks or whatever. I don't know. I haven't listened to the tapes in a long time. Actually, the tapes I have are from... They're more like 10, 11, 12 years old, and they're... It's like this one kid talk show thing. But I do have sometimes, I called my friend Jim Cross, I remember, in one of them.
Oh.
And,
A real person?
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, on the
I'm
cellar.
just saying, I'm just
No, I had this,
clarifying, that's all.
yeah, but no, my dad gave me this, this microphone with a suction cup on it. It's for recording phone calls. And you stick it to the phone.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it picks up the sound.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And, so I should find the, well, I've been meaning to digitize them or whatever, so I have them, for later, for posterity. And so if I can find them, I'll throw up a little clip or something.
So what else? Anything other than that?
Oh, other than my teddy bear and my phone call recorder. I mean, really, I will say that I use the little, I want to say it's like a little RCA tape recorder. I played with that for years. I record music off of the radio and off movies, and I recorded the entirety of the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie and listened to it on a long road trip.
We were talking about this
we were, right,
last
okay.
week or something like that, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, because, I'd seen the movie 100 times, so... oh, man. I don't know, I had sticks.
Sticks.
Yeah, I used to play with sticks.
I got to
a
bring
lot.
this up though. When we were talking about that, it was at my birthday party, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, that's right.
And yeah, I
you
mean,
were like,
so-
"What's a tape?"
No, because I mean, growing up though, I mean, it was like, still today, I'm very cheapish, frugal. Let's call it frugal.
All right,
So I wouldn't go out. I wouldn't
you're
go
very careful with your money.
out. Yeah, I wouldn't go out and like buy tapes or records or CDs or whatever like that. I was like, I just record it off of whatever. And so like, and there's other, not only that, but there's other times where there's stuff that you don't know how to get a hold of as far as recording, like soundtracks or whatever like that.
Yeah,
So like what you were saying is like, because I had a cassette player that that you could record like not only like the radio, but you had a microphone. You record whatever was going on like outside or whatever,
Yeah.
external microphone. And there was this movie that I loved one of the songs in. So every time the movie came out, because I had it on a VHS, and so I put
that's a kind of tape. It's
that's
a
right.
cartridge
It's like that's right.
with tape inside of it. It's magnetic.
Early CD player,
Yeah,
DVD. I mean,
before DVDs, we had
right.
tapes.
so I sat there and I would
Before
like
tapes, we
I
had
would
books.
take I would take my cassette player, and I'd put it up against the TV and record it
Yeah,
and record what was going on.
I totally
so I,
did
so I
that.
could have it.
Yeah, I absolutely did that too.
And the unfortunate thing is, there would be commentary or dialogue. going through
Yeah,
as I was listening to it. So I had to kind of anyway.
yeah, but that becomes part of the listening experience for you as well.
It was disappointing.
Was
Or
it?
like, or I would record my.
You're
favorite,
listening to it later. You're like, I can't believe I
like
recorded
just
this.
like right now. If you listen to the radio, they're gonna play the same like 20 songs all day long.
Yeah,
And I knew that back. I mean, so I'd sit there and I'd sit there and I'd have my stereo and I'd have the tape in it, and I would have like record and pause.
yeah, I forgot.
So as soon as I heard
So you
my,
press record and play at the same time. You hit
Right.
the pause button.
right. So as soon as I heard my song come on, I'd click it.
Yeah,
And the only disappointing part about that is they would always have station identification
Yeah.
or whatever at the end of the song. Oh, this is a song you've been listening to. I was like, you just ruined my song.
you free
You
music.
talked over
playing-
the best part. Stuff like that.
What was your favorite radio station when you were a kid?
It was WAQY. It was called WAQY 102.
WAQY 102.
WAQY was WAQY, so they
Ah.
called it WAQY 102. And yeah, everybody listened to it. They
Yeah.
played, I mean, that was just I won tickets to go see a couple of my favorite bands back in the day. It was 80s, so it was Cinderella, BulletBoys, and Winger.
What, BulletBoys?
BulletBoys. Cinderella was one of my favorite bands back then.
Yeah.
Still now. BulletBoys, Winger, horrible.
See, I've
Anyways.
heard of Winger. I've never heard of BulletBoys.
Anyway, so
It's interesting.
yeah. Anyway, it was
Or
pretty
not.
cool. It was pretty cool because they like had me on the radio and everybody could hear it and stuff like that.
I never won those things.
Yeah.
I'd call and call, and it's like boop boop boop.
I remember because I used to sit on my porch like in the summertime. I was always sitting on my porch listening to the radio, just like chilling out or whatever. And it came over to radio. So if you call in right now, if you're caller number whatever,
Yeah.
you'll win these tickets. I called up and I won. I was like, no way. Yeah, so it was pretty cool.
I was always the number, like, within a couple of numbers, or, like, too late, kid, sorry.
Yeah, right.
I'm like,
Why'd you bother answering the phone then?
Right. Well, I mean, I
Just to
appreciate
rub it
that
in?
better than... I'd have been more annoyed if it just rang and rang and rang, I guess.
Yeah.
I'd be like, it's just ringing forever, it's too late. And then when, well, like, because, around that same time when they were still... Like, I don't know if radio stations still do that, where you call and you have to be calling number whatever, but do they do that still?
Yeah.
Okay. But I remember when call waiting came around and radio stations got it too, and you wouldn't necessarily get a busy signal.
Right.
You'd ring and you'd be like,
Right.
do they have enough lines? Can I...
Did they hang up on me?
Right. It would ring like
Yeah.
25 times, and you're like, should I hang up and try
Right.
again?
Uh-huh.
And then
And
you
I've
do
done
that. Huh?
And I've done that.
What? Hung
Hang
and
up,
tried-
call
yeah.
back, hang up, call back, hang up, call back. Because I've hung up before. I've like called before, and they're like, "You're caller 3, click." Because
Yeah.
you're supposed to be caller 10.
Right.
You're caller 3, click.
Yeah. Bye.
Are you seriously counting? Come on.
They would be, right? How hard
They
would it
can't
be?
be.
Pick up the phone and you look, if I was like, okay,
I'm
Dave and Dan
I'm
Mindset,
assuming if you're at
call
like,
us right now.
I'm assuming if you're at a radio station, it's a business, and they got to have all kinds of lines.
Yeah, but
So
I don't
they're
know
like,
if they
click,
did
click,
all
click,
the time.
click,
back
click.
then.
Anyway, yeah.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, but they pick up, they're like, call number 1. Pick up the next one, you call number 2. Pick up the next one, you call number 3. I don't know if it's necessarily really and true.
So you're not really that caller, but
right, but you're the caller that they answered. Yeah,
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could totally be caller number 10 and you got screwed because they were busy taking the 18th call to tell them they were number 8.
My first real toy, though,
Yeah.
that I recall getting was Evel Knievel.
The actual guy?
Exactly. He came to my house. He hung
Hang out, he's my friend.
That's right. It cost him over a fortune, but
Yeah.
what a memory.
5 Christmases and no toys really paid off that next Christmas.
No, but it was this dude.
He's like, Dave,
It
I'm
was
going to
Evel
jump
Knievel
over these
in-
cars.
It was Evel Knievel in the host suit, and he
Yeah.
had a motorcycle that you could sit on, and you wound it up, and you would go across the room.
And it stayed up and stuff?
Yeah.
Really? Was that just on 2 wheels?
It's Evel Knievel. Of course he stayed up.
Yeah, but it's not. Okay, but we have established it's not really Evel Knievel.
Right, but still, he stayed up.
On 2 wheels, a little toy.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Well, it went fast enough. I mean, it's all momentum.
I had a little motorcycle guy. Probably not. I know it's not nearly as cool because it didn't wind up or anything. But it was like like a hard plastic motorcycle or whatever, the wheels worked and everything. And then this like softer plastic or like some kind of hard rubber or something. The guy that was on it, and he had little holes in his hands, so you could take him off the bike, and he was always in the little
Right.
sitting position. But you could put
Well,
him
you
on.
could
and-
also tilt him up, right?
I think you could tilt him up.
Yeah, so you could be like
Yeah, but I mean, not that it still did anything, but with your imagination, it was
exactly.
fun.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And I loved that toy, even though I've always really never been into the idea of actually being on a motorcycle. What?
But I think the funny thing is, like Brian was hopefully getting at, is like today, there is no imagination.
No.
Well, I shouldn't say that.
Well, they do still make Lego.
Exactly. That thing will never go away.
Shouldn't. It's great.
Exactly. And they still keep coming up with new stuff to do with that thing.
Well, because they get all these movie licenses and things now, too. That helps a lot.
But like now it's like video games, which I'm not saying video games are bad, because I mean we just got done playing some video games, so
We didn't do very good, but yeah.
I know. But like yeah, what's the thing, like every year at Christmas there's always a new thing that comes out that
Yeah.
everybody wants.
I'm a good 15-ish years behind on what that is now.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, there's always like
Well, I get astounded. My nieces and nephews, I know they don't really watch a lot of TV. They don't. I don't. Somehow they are learning about these toys that exist,
right
and I don't know how they're getting this information.
TV.
But I don't even think they watch that. I think they watch like Netflix and stuff. There's no ads. I don't know how they're learning about this stuff.
Friends.
But they are. They don't have any friends. They're little. And they're homeschooled.
Oh, well, Ash then.
I don't think he's going out of his way to point out stuff that he would ultimately have to buy them. I have no idea, but they learn about these toys. I guess they just go into the toy aisle in the store.
Oh, well, yeah.
But they get all excited about this stuff, and the toys themselves have advertisements for other versions of that toy.
Right.
But they're like, oh, I really want that, and it's like, and I look at them, and some of them are pretty cool, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can see you wanting that.
One of the funniest things about toys.
Don't let me forget to go back to the motorcycle guy. I got a story about
Okay, one of the funniest things for me about being a parent, anyway,
that.
is like growing up, or not growing up, but with my daughters
Yeah.
in the early years. It's like grandparents and like aunts and uncles have this way of getting kids toys for their birthdays, specifically to annoy the parents themselves.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah. And the toy companies have to be loving this. They're like, what's the loudest, most annoying toy that a grandparent can give their grandkid?
Well, for the grandparents, it's
Make
not
it.
as loud to them. Yeah, lots of little voices and stuff.
Yeah. Like, I remember Ashlynn had a doll that would talk.
Yeah.
And like you'd pick her up and all this kind of stuff.
Like,
You had
steal money from your
you'd have
parents
to
from
feed her.
me.
My mother would be. My mother didn't get it. My mother would get freaked out. It was hilarious.
Really?
She's like that. She's like, she's like, get that thing out of here. It was hilarious. Anyway, which is the opposite of what I was saying, but still, it was pretty funny.
My grandma Harris got me a. I remember one of the. I don't know, one of the really cool. Well, yeah, I don't know. One of the really cool toys she got me when I was really excited about was a bat jet for my Batman action figures. And like the guy, he fit in there and everything.
Right.
And it had like these. It was like kind of based off like the Michael Keaton movies or whatever, sort of. It was like that style of thing, sort of, but a bit, not really, but you could have seen it in there or whatever. It had this thing where like the wings on it. It was like, how do I describe this? It was like the whole body of the plane or whatever, and then the wings came around the back. And they curved around the back to be like flat up in the front, like halfway up. So it's kind of like it was like a moon shape with like the front of the jet coming off the top.
Right. Okay, I got you.
And like, but the wings folded in, presumably for this like super fast mode they could go into, which actually makes no sense at all. Like it would just drop out of the sky, I assume, if this was a real plane.
Right.
But they had this button on it, and the wings would
Batman.
flip out, and it was really cool. And they had these little batty points on the ends or whatever. And then it also had this thing on the front that you pressed another button, and it would shoot the front of the plane off, and it was like this bat-shaped thing or whatever. And it went far, which is something I've noticed from my my nephews and mostly my nephews' toys. Anything that shoots something, it goes like 3 inches. We had stuff that would fire across the room.
Yeah.
And hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
As it should be.
And it was awesome.
Yeah.
I could
now
knock...
it's like, no.
Yeah. Like, you could shoot some of this stuff off at another, like, action figure that's sitting on its giant feet that they have now, because apparently kids can't be trusted to balance an action figure on, proportional feet. And you hit them, and they rock, maybe they rock a little bit. They don't fall over.
That's interesting, actually, because Jason Vance put I think it was Rhonda, put a thing on, a link to Jason, and I'm going to paraphrase, whatever you want to call it.
Go ahead.
Because I didn't really totally read the article. Actually I did. But she threw a thing over to Jason, basically, on Facebook, saying how this certain pediatrician would not let his kids do certain things that he did as a child, knowing what he knows now.
Okay.
That sort of thing. Like, and I'd have to look it up, but it was stuff like...
like lawn darts, man? Remember
yeah,
those?
I mean, yeah, that is pretty dangerous.
Those were awesome.
I know they were.
Don't
I love
throw them
those
at other
things.
people.
Yeah.
Don't throw them straight up in the air. It's easy.
Plus, it's an adult game. You don't give them to kids.
Really?
I mean,
We
come on.
Played with them. I have all my fingers and eyeballs and everything still.
But it was...
I never got stabbed by a lawn
it was funny,
dart.
like, I would never let my...
We had a big yard.
I would never let my kid mow the lawn until I knew he knew exactly what was going on and blah, blah, blah. Which is, of course, yes.
My dad was like that already.
Yes, of course I'm going to teach my kid to mow, before he goes and does it himself.
Yeah.
But there were other things that went along with it.
If you got to reach under there, pull the spark plug.
But there was other things that went along with it. We need to pull that article up. There was other things that went along with it, but it's just like, dude, I mean, let your kid, sometimes injury is good.
Yeah.
Not like maiming injury, but sometimes, I mean, let your kid, like, play. Let him be a kid.
Yeah.
Let your be a father. To me, a father is to, like, knock your kid around a bit. Not abusively, but
yeah. But I learned how to not get hurt by getting hurt.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And now I don't get hurt.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
I learned to not run up slippery stairs once because I did and I hit my shin really hard. And after I did it a couple more times, I stopped entirely.
I mean, there's certain things where you like tell your kid not to do something and they ask you why and they'll say because you're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
But they're not going to realize what it actually means until, you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
And I'm not saying, you know, let your
hopefully
kids
they take your word for it, but if they
not
won't,
saying let your kids run freely and do whatever and stuff like that, but I mean, I've done it with my girls where it's like, hey, whoa.
Right.
But what's going to happen?
Yeah, not everything is gonna stick as something they need to not do until they do it. And then realize that you were right.
Yeah.
And even if they don't realize that you were right, they will at least realize that the consequence was a real thing. And maybe they'll never realize that you even told them so.
Yeah.
But they will learn to not do something when something unpleasant happens.
Yeah, but there's also parents who will be like, you know, don't touch that stove. And the kids will be, why? Because I said so.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of because I said so.
Right.
Although you should respect me because I'm your dad and I said because I said so, but I'm going to tell you anyway because you're going to get burned. That's why.
Yeah.
Not because I said so, because you're going to get burned.
Yeah.
My dad was big on that because I said so.
Was he?
Yeah, I mean, my dad's
didn't
great.
do anything for you as a kid? When you were a kid and he would tell you because I said so, did that do anything for you?
Well,
you're like,
well, growing up, he wasn't really there. So, but he did it. He did it around my daughters. Like they would do something, and
yeah. So did you do anything for them? Were they like, whatever?
Well, I stepped in.
Okay.
I'm like, Dad, you can't do that. You need to tell them there's a consequence for that, not because you said so.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, well, they should listen to me. I'm like, of course, yes, I agree.
What's the
but
consequence
you need to
of
tell
not
them
listening to him, though?
if it's their first encounter with something, you need to tell them there's a consequence for that.
Yeah, and this is what it is.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I remember I burned my arm on the stove. Like, I knew not to touch the burners and stuff like that. My thing was I would take things very literally. And I had learned not to touch the burners because they were hot.
Right.
But the whole range top would get hot. And I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
And I burned myself on a part of this metal range stop that was close to the burners. And but I had this mark on my arm for like 8 years or whatever where I had burned my arm. Like, and I wasn't trying to touch the stove either. I was actually reaching for something else that was near it. And I was reaching over past it or whatever. And I think it was on my left arm. And, yeah. And burned myself. And I was like, stoves in general, I should just stay away from, especially when they're on.
One of my me and my girls, Ashlynn and Kelsey, were at my nephew's house.
Yeah.
And I went to go see him and stuff. We were hanging at my nephew's house, and he has an old school stove where it heats the house as well.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like has this grate on the side of the stove where you can turn it on and the heat will come out.
Yeah.
And something that Angelo was there, Ashlynn's son.
Yeah.
And he was like walking around it, and Ashlynn's very cool when it comes to like calm, and I appreciate it. And she's like, Angelo, don't go near the stove, it's hot. And he's like 1 year old, and he'd be like, hot. And like it's like hilarious to see, and very cool to see that he knows hot.
Yeah. So he'll like put his hand out a little bit
He'd be
to
like hot.
Or
like he won't go near it, but he'll be like he knows
Okay.
that she's saying it's hot. So he'll be like, what's the word? Be my thesaurus.
So, all right. So it's fascinating to you how he pays attention.
Well, just he like responds to her cues, I guess. Like he I don't know. He trusts her enough to like, all she has to do is say, "That's not good," basically,
okay.
and he'll back off.
He'll obey.
Yeah.
Obedience.
What do you call it? Obedience? I would call it trust. I think there's two different things. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's also obedience where she'll say, you know what I mean? Like any parent would say, get away.
Yeah.
But she was not saying get away, she was saying hot.
Yeah.
So he trusted her to realize that it was not good.
Yeah.
You know?
That's good. It's interesting that she's been able to demonstrate to him the importance of hot being something to stay away from.
Right.
So well.
Right.
That at, what is he now, a year and a half?
A little over a year and a half.
Yeah. So that seems pretty incredible. Like, because, I would guess that he hasn't burnt himself real bad yet. So, look, just so I don't forget, the motorcycle?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
It's not a great story, and the more I think about it, it's like,
it's not,
feel
or it
hyped up
is?
now. It's okay, it's just, I remember I really liked it, and there was this, when I was in kindergarten, there's this kid, Paul. Well, I couldn't stand. My earliest memory of not liking him was he was eating my glue. I had this,
That you wanted to eat.
no, I never wanted to eat glue. What's wrong? I really, even as a kindergartner.
I ate glue.
Did you?
But it was homemade glue. It was different. My mom used to make the best glue.
Best tasting?
No, but my mom used to make, even with my daughter, she taught him how to make glue. And it was
Is it
basically...
like flour and
yeah.
And water or
Flour
something?
and water. It was glue.
This
My mom's still school.
Yeah, yeah. This is Elmer's glue, and I had like the big
okay.
bottle.
That's wrong.
I even then I was like, why would you eat that? And I knew he was a glue eater already at that point. Seriously, why would you eat the flour and water either, though?
I was a kid. Are you kidding me?
I wouldn't have eaten that.
It's flour and water. It was dough, basically.
It's not good. All right.
I was a kid. Are you kidding me? Come on.
I'm not kidding you. I felt like you were
Better
kidding
than
me.
dirt.
Why are those your options? Dirt and
I'm
glue.
just saying, kids eat dirt. That's what they do. Are you kidding me? They eat anything on the ground, they'll eat it.
I didn't eat that stuff. I wasn't real big on putting weird stuff in my mouth, though.
I think you blocked it out.
I didn't block it out. I remember this. I remember my crib. I mean, I have a memory.
I'm going to ask your mom.
You go ahead.
Okay.
She'll tell you. Well, we weren't allowed, we weren't allowed to have, like, pacifiers or anything either, so. I don't know, my mom, I think, I don't know, at least one of them was, like, really anti-pacifier. So, I didn't suck on my thumb or anything, you know. I did know a kid up through 2nd, 3rd grade who was still sucking his thumb, and it looked constantly like he had just gotten out of a long bath. It was kind of gross. Yeah. Although as an adult, I guess it cleared up. But at that point, I thought he was going to have a weird thumb forever. So he would sit there in class sucking his thumb. In 2nd grade.
Wow.
I thought it was so weird.
That is very weird. That's disturbing.
I'm still friends with him on... Yeah, well... technically friends with him in real life. We haven't seen each other in a long time. We haven't seen each other in a long time.
You're friends or you're not.
We're friends on Facebook.
Oh, well, it's legit then.
So it's, I don't know. It's possible you could hear this, and I think I'm pretty confident he'd know who he is. But, hey, sorry, buddy. That was weird. Like, what were you doing? He had many other qualities, though. So. Paul. Anyway, well, first of all, he was eating my glue. And,
which is wrong.
Which is wrong. And he lied about it. Because he's sitting there across this round table from me, eating my glue. And I'm like, Paul, you're eating my glue. He's like, this is my glue. And I'm like, why does it have my name on it? Because it did, on a big, Sharpie. My mom wrote my name on all my stuff. Right. She didn't want other kids taking my stuff. And, and it had my name on it. Mm-hmm. Danny H.
Danny H.
Yeah. So, anyway, I let one of my friends play with my little motorcycle guy, and then I walked away for a minute and came back, and next thing I knew, Paul was playing with it, and he broke the arm off of it.
I had no glue to put it back on.
Yeah, he'd eaten it all. Yeah, I was furious at him. I hated that kid.
And you're still friends with him?
No, that's Paul. I don't like Paul. Oh, okay. I don't even know his last name.
My bad.
No, this is different. I have not named the kid who sucked his thumb.
Okay.
I'm not going to do that to him.
Okay.
He's a good guy. He doesn't deserve that. But Paul, and I've never liked anybody named Paul. The only Pauls that I've ever liked, it turns out that's actually their middle name.
Really?
And they've gone by Paul, yeah.
Huh.
Like my chiropractor goes by, his name's Michael. His middle name's Paul, he goes by Paul. But I think he was a junior, so he went by Paul.
Paul McCartney. Is that his first name?
Is it? Not?
I'm asking.
I don't know.
Okay.
Now that you mention it, though, I feel like maybe it's not. I think he might be John Paul.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I could be completely wrong, though. I don't know. So what was your favorite toy growing up?
I actually didn't have one.
You had no toys.
I mean, I was like, my radio was like my favorite, if you want to call that a toy.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really remember what I would think would be my favorite toy before, like, I got into things that could play stuff, you know?
Right. Like, I remember my first recollection of a toy was the whole Evel Knievel thing. Other than that...
yeah. That's right.
There was, I guess I never really got into, like... I mean, I had board games. I was always into board games.
Yeah. Did you always have a lot of people around, though?
Yeah, I always had friends over my house. Always. My mother always wanted my friends over. Always cooking for my friends. Always having my friends over and stuff like that. So, there's always board games. So I don't consider that a toy, I guess.
Yeah.
I always had my radio. I just listen to my radio, like lay in bed and like just like zone out, listen to my radio. That's about it.
I remember I made like this whole thing. I called it Paperland. Because whatever. But it was all these, I cut out all these. It was basically like before I had action figures, I had Paperland. I would make like Batman and Ninja Turtles and like everything out of paper. The X-Men, like a whole bunch of them.
Right.
And I cut out this stuff with construction paper and like tape it all together. And, and they were, and I'd play with those. It was fun because you could, like, get them into a real fight where maybe they lose an arm or something, and you just tape it back on later.
Right. Yeah, I was always on the street.
Yeah.
I
used to dig a lot. Yeah, I remember that.
Well, no, we always used to have.
Well, yeah, I didn't know. We had the highway there. So
on our street.
Couldn't play in the street.
We always had basically hide and seek, but I forget what we called it.
Oh, that would have been fun.
But like we had the whole street, and we had a lot of kids that lived on my street, so we'd all get together when you have these teams.
Yeah.
And you basically split up, and like one team would hide, and this is the whole street. And it's a pretty big street, and hide anywhere you want.
It's like 20 kids or whatever, probably, right?
Yeah, and hide anywhere you want. I mean, there was basically like woods, there was this park. You could hide anywhere you wanted in people's backyards, and all this kind of stuff. And if somebody was found, you would put them in jail, which was on somebody's porch.
Yeah.
Like we'd pick somebody's porch, and you'd put them on the porch, and basically they were in jail.
Yeah.
And you'd have guards
to keep them in jail.
To keep them there. But if you were sneaky enough, you could sneak around, tag them,
and they could jump out.
And they could get out.
But the guards could grab you, right?
Yeah. But if you didn't get caught, it's all good.
Yeah.
It was freaking.
That sounds awesome.
It was awesome because
I would play that now.
I would too. It
Yeah.
was a whole street, and our street was pretty long, and it was not only long, but it was like our house was like on the lower part of the street, and then as you go down, it would go up. Like there would be a hill. And we had a park down in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
And not only that, but there was a lot of like we had huge backyards.
Yeah.
And everybody had a porch. And so you could basically like lay on somebody's porch, just lay down. Nobody would ever see you.
Uh-huh.
So it was very
on a front or a back porch.
Front porch, anywhere you wanted. But everybody then had front porches, no back porches.
Yeah.
And you could lay down, but as long as somebody didn't see you, you were fine.
Right.
But you had to be very like the people that were looking for you,
Yeah.
had to be very
Observant?
yeah, exactly. It was so good.
That sounds great.
It was awesome.
I feel like that doesn't happen now.
Now?
Yeah.
No,
I don't know. Kids
not that I know of.
play with the whole street like that anymore?
No,
I don't
back then when it was.
There were no kids anywhere near me when I
remember
grew
one
up, so-
time. I remember one time we were the team I was on went to a neighbor's house because like not everybody on the street obviously had kids,
Yeah.
but we went to a neighbor's house like this old lady's house. And we walked in and
You just walked in?
we were like knocking on the door and we knew everybody. Like, hey,
Yeah.
come on in. There were these old ladies. They're like, come on and have some hot chocolate. So we went in. We were sitting there like the whole game drinking hot chocolate. We're not getting caught.
Nice.
It was awesome.
I used to love like hide and seek in the dark and stuff.
Yeah.
Was this at night usually then?
Oh yeah. Of
Yeah.
course it had to be.
Yeah. I used to get like I remember we had like this lock-in or whatever, and there were 30, 40 kids at this thing. and it was known that we were going to play this game or whatever. And or maybe I just suspected that we would play it or something. I brought all black stuff to wear, like before the game went and changed into like I had black shoes, like black sweatpants or something,
Right.
like a black sweatshirt, like just so I was like black from head to toe. And we went out like middle of the night. It was at the Charlotte Church of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing, and there were no flashlights or anything like that. It was all, you just had to like find people.
Right. Yeah.
And I remember seeing like the It coming or whatever, and I just flattened down on the ground, and they walked right past me because I was all black.
Yeah, we did the same thing. No flashlights.
Yeah.
No cheating.
Yeah. It was nice.
Yeah.
It was fun. I miss that. I would totally play that now. Love to.
We're going to have to do that. We're going to have to set that up.
Okay. I've been wanting to get another game going for years.
Yeah.
So I'm up for it. We're going to have like a Dan and Dave mindset. Get
That's right.
yeah.
Yep. I'd
Get
do
all
it.
of our fans out, and I don't know. Not our fans, but our listeners.
Our friends.
Our friends, yeah. Just our friends. Yeah. Who are the only people who listen to us.
That's right.
So, all right. Well, we should probably. Well, yeah, we need to stop. All right. Well, thanks, Brian, for the topic.
Right.
I don't feel like we covered it the way you were hoping, but
But we
rarely
do what we do.
cover topics the way we hope. Yeah. You've been listening to the Dan and Dave Mindset. My name's Dan.
I'm Dave. Peace.